time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Big game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Fuck it, what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, Axel, and Huber way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah.
Brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waves by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Cold, these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waves by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. Ride or die, 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 ride or die. Cold, these brothers, my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep waves by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta ride or die.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah. This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. My girl, and say, this is.
Mom, what's up? What he calls me black? You know I got dogs since dialysis. Okay, all right, I know. He calls me sickness, and that's a nickname as well. You know what I mean? I mean, you know how close we were and how in love we were, and you know he's a little different with dialysis and everything like that. But he cares and he loves me, and I know. Okay. He does feed me. I know it's not always kidney friendly food, but we're eating. I don't know what else you want me to say or what do you want me to do. You know, you and the family keep ragging me about him. I got a man. I caught a man and I got a man, and I don't know why y'all are all in this. You know what I mean? All in the Kool-Aid. Okay, that's not healthy either. But anyway, I just want to say, this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. Hello, everybody, and how you doing? Happy Sunday. And I am about to start my show, which I named Sister to Sister because I got two sisters on this show. Family in the house. Family matters. That's right. Before I start the show, just some quick few little things. I wanted you guys to see our Rise Up East New York card. Woo! And this is our little bag, our little giveaway bags. You know, we've been giving out and giving away. And we got the little bracelets. If you didn't see it before, I wanted to show you that. I showed you the mask before. And you know, sometimes you need to catch a bargain. So I caught some bargains on some nice little washcloths. Isn't that nice? And I caught another bargain because I have to go to work this week. So this keeps the food very cold or very hot. Whatever you put in here, it keeps it nice. And it was reasonable. Yes. I had to tell you that. Okay. And because I'm on, I had a transplant. You know, you have to be careful in the sun. You could get skin cancer. So I use some of this, and it's been very, very helpful. I just wanted to say that. No, they're not paying me to say it, but I like to give you guys resources and tidbits about any and everything. That's right. I sure do. I sure do. All right. So I would like to say for our scripture is, his compassion never fails. They are new every morning. That's Lamentations 3:22 and 23. Now let me introduce my guest. How about that? Yes. Okay. I have Michelle Dula, right? Harris. And she had worked at Northwell Health. All right. And she's a healthcare administrator. And now her sister Nina, who I know. Yeah, Nina Dula White, right? She Noonie Bands. She's the CEO and president of Noonie Bands. Yeah, what a great, great thing. That's right, that's right. And we just go way back. So I welcome sister to sister, Michelle and Nina, to the Lisa Baxter Show. Woo woo! Hi guys, I'm so glad to have you. I really am. And who knew that our nephew were friends all of this time? And me and you knew each other, Nina, and we didn't know our nephews were friends. We just recently found that out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just glad to have you guys, and I'm glad that he was the one who told me the story, you know, about what happened with his mother, Michelle. But I'm not going to be greedy, and I'm not going to tell it all. I'm going to let you guys tell it. And let me see what we're going to start with first. Okay, we're going to start with your job, your Northern Well job. Tell us a little bit about that. And I would like to ask both of you, did you both work while you guys were on dialysis or while you were ill? So tell us about your job and then answer that.
All right. Well, I'm a senior CME program administrator still for Northwell Health in the academic affairs department. And basically what we do is we help faculty, the doctors, the nurses, the PAs to get their educational credits because they have to re-up on new technology, new information, breaking news. So we make sure they get that. So when they give healthcare to their patients, they give them the most up-to-date healthcare and treatments possible. I'm still working. As you know, Lisa, I received a kidney transplant from my son. He was 18 at the time, about 11 years ago, and everything was going wonderful. But then sadly, I caught COVID-19, and it landed me in the hospital for 6 weeks. And unfortunately, COVID-19 damaged my kidneys and put me back into stage 4. So now I'm back on dialysis. I do peritoneal dialysis. I do that at home. It's going well. I've been doing it since September. I'm back on the kidney transplant list. And luckily, my specific position, I work from home. So it helps me to transition to be able to continue to work and to take care of my treatment. So I'm doing okay. Lena?
Oh, Well, what was the question? Tell me again. My job, I became a CEO. It was actually during my time off of the machine. I had a transplant also. My daughter gave me a transplant. And during that time, I wanted to go away, but I didn't want to show my ugly marks on my arm. So my aunt came up with an idea of making spandex covers to cover up my arm, and that's what I ended up doing. I have a legal company called Noonie Bands Inc. I also have a website called at nooneybands.com. And I didn't work all the time. I've been on dialysis for 15 years. And I started working temp. That was after. But when my kidneys failed, I had to stop work. And then once I got a little better, I started going back to work, but I lost my job, so I was just temping. And then the temping became too rigorous for me. And because my heart was not as strong, I had to not work. And now I'm still at home, but I have the privilege of still working with my company and still come in contact with certain patients. I still go to centers and show my product, and I still continue to do that.
Wow. All right now. All right. You guys said so much, it's like the show ended, but it's not, because I always got more for you. I always got more for you. But Michelle, okay, so some dialysis patients do not share their medical history. I mean, some of them don't tell anybody, what they're dealing with. Were you able to tell your job what you were dealing with, or did they notice or see anything?
Well, actually, I was very transparent with my boss and my coworkers, and it's only because I knew there would be telltale signs. Like when we were working in the office pre-COVID, there were times I would be tired. So they actually set up a separate break area, and during my lunch I can go and rest because I would get tired. I would be fatigued, and they were very understanding, and they've been working so well with me. It's wonderful. Now I do with the peritoneal dialysis. I don't know if you know the process. It's dialysis that I do at home. I'm
No,
plugged
go
into a
ahead.
machine called a cycler with the dialysis solution, and then I do it at night while I'm sleeping. So I'm able to go to work during the daytime because I don't have to do dialysis during the day. Every now and then the cycler might malfunction or it might run slow. So then I log into work a little late. But other than that, it's helping me to keep a semi-normal work life.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I would ask you both, what is the high and the lows of being on dialysis? There are highs and lows. You know what I mean? I was good most of the time. I was functionally able to work, but I had low blood pressure. I had low calcium, and there were times I would pass out. But other than that, I was usually great, usually fine. But that was my high and my low of it. You know what I'm saying? So, what was your high and lows? Would you say?
Well, for me, my highs and lows are I have trouble sleeping, unfortunately. Every now and then I'll get cramping from the calcium. And then, ironically, I have high phosphorus and low protein because I can never seem to consume enough protein to make the doctors happy. But I try. They give me some protein supplements called calcitrol and one other. No, calcitrol is a calcium supplement. There's a protein supplement they give me that I have to drink. It's like a little fruity drink, and I drink it every day to help keep my protein up. And then what I found, strange enough, is my blood count continues to drop. So every 3 to 4 weeks, I get a shot just to bring my blood count back up. Because when my blood count was down, I find that I'm very fatigued and I'm very tired. So that's the only downfall, just the being tired and having the occasional cramp. But also, I just have to watch what I eat, all right, to help lessen the cramping. The fatigue I can't do anything about, but that seems to help me. So we're doing all right. Nina?
My low, being that we're talking over a period of 15 years, My low started when my heart started breaking down. And I've had to have 4 open heart surgeries. So during that time, my body was very weak and fatigued. And actually, I thought after the last surgery, I would at least come back stronger. But I'm still technically in heart failure. But that is my low because my heart was already weak. That was just my low. My high, if I can explain that I am now doing treatment at home. I do home hemodialysis. And I am on the next stage machine. I had to do training. I do everything myself. And once I got home, I've been home now for about 1.5 years. The next stage machine allows me to do more than 3 treatments. I do 5 because I want to do the max and bring up my energy. Now I have so much energy that I feel great. I actually feel fantabulous. And I believe that is the miracle behind this machine, Next Stage. And because it cleans me so well, I've never felt this good. Out of 15 years, never felt this good. So I would recommend for people who feel like they are able to do it themselves, because I actually do everything at home. I set up the machine, I draw my blood, and and then I come off, but it's all by myself. But training works, and I haven't had any issues at home. I still go to the Access Center as regularly, but I only have to go to the center 1 time a month. So 1 time out of the month, or I could go visit my doctor and drop off my blood work, and then I'm back home. So it's a freedom that I have. I can do treatment whenever I want, and I appreciate that. But thanks to
that's wonderful.
Thanks to that Next Stage machine, I have another breath of wind for my life. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear you know that works for you, because that's what a dialysis patient got to do, or anybody that's ill with any type of illness. You have to do what works for you, and if you tried everything and then that one thing that got you and helped you better than all the rest, then you should do it, and then you should use it. And I appreciate that y'all went that way and then you went the other way. I had siblings that did hemodialysis, and they did a peritoneal also, and they did in. I only did one way, and I only did, hemodialysis in the center, and I loved it, and it worked for me. I was happy as a clam. But, you got to do what works for you, what gives you energy, and what helps you. You know what I mean? Now, how did you know you had to go on dialysis? How did you find out?
I'll go. 2004. Well, let's backtrack. My kidneys failed because of HIV. I was diagnosed with HIV in 91, right? 91 is when I got infected. So I had to keep checking with a doctor. My doctor noticed in 2004 that my kidneys were starting to, the numbers were starting to increase. So that means that my function was going down. So we monitored it, and we tried different medications, and it didn't work. One debilitated me. I had to leave work, and that's when I lost my job because I couldn't go back to work. And because the medications that the nephrologist gave me didn't work, I still had to end up going on treatment. So I never got a catheter because I didn't find out in emergency room. I was able to get prepared, and I went and got my fistula put in before I started dialysis. And as soon as it was healed, I got on the machine, and that was in 2006. I started treatment. Yeah. Did I answer it?
Yes, you did.
Wow. Now that's what I'm talking about. When you're dealing with stuff like this, you got to be able to run it down. You know what I mean? Know the medication, run it down. It becomes a routine, but it's something that we got to do and something we got to live with and work with. And my 2 dynamic duo, my sisters of power, y'all got it going on there. What can I say? Now, moving to the moving to the transplant. Now, you both had children. That's heart beautiful. Oh my God, I'm just too excited. You had children that gave you a kidney. What was that like? You needed it, and they stepped up. Oh, please tell us what that was like.
Well, for me, it was a double blessing because when I found out that I had to have a kidney transplant, of course, the family all volunteered to be tested. And not only was my son a match, my sister, my other sister, we have a younger sister, and she was also a match. And then they battled it out, and my son won. And he said, I won. But she was also anemic, so at the time, she would have to build up her anemia before she could donate. But he won out. He's like, I'm more healthier. I'm going to give it to her. So we went to Stony Brook. My doctors are out there in Stony Brook, and they did an amazing job. So let me rewind and go back to what caused me to have kidney failure.
Right.
In 1995, I felt a lump, and turned out I had 97. I had breast cancer. And so what happened was I had to do chemotherapy. And before the chemotherapy, I was perfectly healthy. I was fine. I had no comorbidities. I was doing all right. And once they started the treatment, of course, they check your blood, and they check all your levels. And the doctor said, well, do you have any type of kidney failure? I said, no. But progressively, as I took the chemotherapy, my kidneys began to fail. In record time, I started the chemotherapy in 95. By 98, I was already in full failure. I was stage 4 kidney failure. No, 97? Sorry, it's my husband in the background. In 1997, I had stage 4 kidney failure. So that's how I found out. But we saw it coming because the chemo, and I had a choice: not do the chemo and possibly die from breast cancer, or do the chemo and risk kidney failure. So there was really no option. You know what I mean? And we believe God here. So I know that God would make a way for us. And he has, because both of us, we do. We even have a brother who got sick, and he's now on dialysis. So there's 3 of us who are actually on dialysis. He's camera shy, so he didn't want to come aboard. But 3 of us on dialysis, and all of us are on kidney transplant lists now, waiting for transplants. I've had one for my son, so now I'm on again for a separate donor, and so is my sister, and so is my brother. And we're on the transplant list in 3 different districts because you're allowed to be on the 3 transplant lists. You don't have to just be on one. They just suggest that you be on a transplant list that's at least an hour and a half away, so you can travel there to get there in time to receive the transplant. So that's what we did. So we're hopeful, you know what I mean? And we share. I'm blessed that we have a strong family, and we have a lot of family support. You know what I mean? Like when Nina eats French fries and everybody has a fit because she's not supposed to eat them, but she loves McDonald's French fries. So she always sneaks and has them, and they raise her phosphorus up, and then she gets pains and cramps. And
I eat Tums.
That's her excuse. That's her excuse. But we're blessed. You know what I mean? We don't have time to have a pity party. We don't have time to whine and complain, because that's not going to change anything. It's not going to fix anything. So we got to take the high road. You got to be positive. And if you believe God, you got to do just that. Just believe him that he will make a way. You know what I mean?
That's the point, is believing in God. You cannot go through this type of ailment and not know a God.
Amen.
That's right.
It was so imperative, and I believe that's why we were brought up in church, because we knew where we could lean. And it made it so much easier because the comfort of God was right there with us. So it wasn't a hard challenge. It was just something we had to overcome. And it was very easy knowing that we had a God right with us who's going to make sure that we get through it.
Let me tell you, I know what you're saying. I couldn't have made it the 12 years that I did dialysis. And, it was a rough day, because the day it made 6 years that my husband passed away, and we were married 23 years, and he was the one who got secretly tested to get me to, and him and Archbishop Rochford talked me into even getting on the transplant list because I didn't want to. I was waiting for my kidney to start working, but I love that you have your family involved and it's a family affair and a family thing. I had 6 siblings on dialysis, 2 aunts and uncle, and a mother-in-law. And I'm telling you, that's what makes you fight all the more because you see this thing up close and personal. You see this thing firsthand. And even if you saw it from afar, you just got to get involved some kind of way. Educate somebody, educate yourself. And I like the fact that your whole family just jumped in and got tested. A lot of mine had polycystic. Some of mine had polycystic kidney disease, so they couldn't get tested. And then, some of them are reluctant, some of them are afraid, and then some of them just don't know what it entails. But once you know, you can make a better choice or an educated choice for yourself, for your family, or whoever you're trying to give this organ to. You know what I'm saying? So
another one, Lisa. I forgot to say, I was blessed with a kidney also. My daughter, my oldest daughter, I only got one, but she gave me a kidney. So grateful. And it didn't last that long, but the 2.5 years that I was off the machine enabled me to create something I needed. So during that time, it wasn't a matter of not explaining to people what I'm going through. It was really to prevent so many questions, because people will see something then they'll make an assumption. So my Noonie bands have helped camouflage that. But I was only able to create this business was because I had a transplant by my daughter and I was home and I wanted to go away. And I couldn't go away with my arm looking so ugly. I was like, oh my God, no.
Show them your Noonie bands.
Yes, here. So here, this one is Jazzy.
Oh, yeah. And you don't have your lumps pointing through it. Some people would have it pumping through it. I'm the kind that don't care. I will wear anything, jump on the pool and all of that. You got to love me, take all of me, honey, or my glasses, the whole thing. But I ain't mad at you because we ain't all like that. My sister downstairs is very private, and she will wear a long sleeve. I'll be coughing and everything watching her. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't.
But instead of a long sleeve, you can wear a Noonie band.
Yes, and
that's right.
They're made out of
that's
spandex.
Right.
I have like the bathing suit material, so you could get in the water. It's light and airy, so it doesn't make your axis too tight.
Or sweat, stick to you, dirty.
Yes, the air blows through it. I also have at least 10 sizes, so everyone can't fit one for all. So it's a measuring process to make sure that the sleeve just pulls up and slides off. And it has to be that smooth and easy, but it took me time to find the right material because all spandex is not nice. Some of them are very harsh. So I went and I found the best I could. But I have 3 materials. I have the spandex. I have a sheer mesh. This one you can see through it, and they all come with different prints and sizes, but this is the lightest one because some women don't like to be closed up, and that's the lightest I can get. And this is just the spandex. And the spandex, I have various prints, all solids. This is just a fun one.
I had a few of them that I showed on the show before. Yeah. Nice colors. I ain't mad at you. Come on here.
Any and every color I can get. But I thank God for her giving me her kidney because it led me to do this. I would have never tried to open up a business and be an owner of a corporation. But it's here and it's
You'd be
real.
Surprised.
Yeah.
And the aunt that helped you as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, have you had any highs and lows on the transplant? Well, I mean, when you had your transplant, I mean, I know for some people it's a lot of medication. Some people side effects from medication. Some people kidney went to sleep. Did you have any problems like that or issues of that nature?
I was blessed, maybe lucky. I had no problems after I had the transplant. And then with the team out at Stony Brook, once I had the transplant, I saw them weekly. And then after a few months, I saw them monthly. And then after a few months after that, I saw them quarterly. So they were well on top of me. So if I would ever walking into any problems, they would do it by testing my blood. then they would address it right away. But I didn't have any problems. I felt wonderful. I felt absolutely wonderful. No problems at all.
Well, my low was after having the transplant in August. I can't think of the year. But after having my transplant, after 6 months of having the kidney, my kidney started rejecting. So that was my low. And it rejected until I had to go back on dialysis. So it started 6 months after I had the kidney put in. I went back to, because my surgery was done at Westchester Medical Center. And I had to go back there, and we tried to revert it, but it didn't work.
But what caused the rejection, Nina White?
The rejection was I had 2 different rejections going on at the same time.
Okay.
The problem was because I am taking antivirals, it's very difficult to find medicine that could slip in between that. So trying to gauge your antiviral medication with anti-rejection medication, it's really, yeah, it's hard. And they couldn't find the balance. So it just didn't work out. But the only thing I regret is that I took a kidney and it had to go away. Because now my daughter's doing great with 1 kidney, but sometimes I feel bad that it didn't work as long as it should have. But it gave me something to live with, because it gave me this business. So I'm grateful for that too. You know, and I just continue to pray that my daughter can live as though she has 2 kidneys and not 1. And she's doing so well now. But I thank God for that. And then also, during this rejection period, I was in the hospital. They tried over 8 different cancer killing medications. And my uncle's a doctor. And the doctor who was taking care of me, she was great. And she had gone overseas to try to find a method or a way to help me. And she couldn't find nothing. She said it was so rare. And then I had 2 rejections going on at the same time. So, you usually get 1, not both.
Wow.
So that, again, was difficult to handle because you had to deal with both of them. And they couldn't find anything to stop the rejection. So we went on. I had to come home. I was doing plasmapheresis 3 times a week. And then I was going to get, I was getting IVIG. They would give me medication at home. So 5 times a week, I was getting treatment to try to keep the kidney. And that was more difficult than being on dialysis. But wow. I tried it to the best of my ability, but, eventually it failed and I had to go back on.
Well, you didn't give up. You know what I mean? Some people give up. They have 1 transplant, say, okay, that's it. And so, I mean, you both don't look like what you've been through. And God has surely had his hand on your life. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I seen y'all dressed to the 9 going out and having a great time. I ain't mad at you. Okay, you ain't never lied. Come on here. So what is it that you want people to learn from both of you? Now, I can't see this clock. I suppose to have. I keep reading the same thing over. I think that says 8:38. Okay, we got a little bit of time. All right. Now, these aren't the reading glasses. I'm showing my age. Sean low. All right. So, keep going like this. What do you want people to learn from you both? Before I ask you about who you're going to give a shout out to, what do you want them to learn from you? Who do you can you encourage out there that maybe have a family that's dealing with the same thing and they don't know how to come together, or they're afraid, or they're scared, or they're at odds? I don't know, but what do you want them to learn from the sisters in the house?
Well, it's the ignorance of dialysis. Even the patients don't know what it really is. So education is so imperative for us. And after 15 years, everything I've learned on how to navigate through dialysis, I learned by going to the hospital. And I want to prevent that for people who are coming on dialysis now. So I am going to start educational forums to explain what is dialysis. How does it work? What is it? Who is in danger of it? And a lot of high blood pressure and diabetic people, they don't realize after years of taking medication that they're headed for a dialysis machine. Because if you don't try to get rid of that ailment, it's going to lead to dialysis, because your kidney is your filter. And I'm asking people to love their kidneys, because everything you put in your mouth is not good. So the kidney gets rid of all that junk. So if you're still eating bad and then you're taking the medicine, after you eat it, bad foods, and then take the medicine, the kidney got to clean out all that stuff again. So it's working double time. And eventually, if you're not trying to help yourself with that ailment, you're going to end up on dialysis. Then we have patients that are very numb because they get told in the emergency room that they have this disease that's killing them. And to be told that in the emergency room is very upsetting. And the hospitals don't even have a basic pamphlet to tell you, oh, this is what you're getting ready to go through. These are the options that you have. And that's it. They don't tell you nothing. And like I said, 15 years, they say the social worker is supposed to give you education. I don't find that to be so. But I try to educate people about how I navigate. I let them know what works for me. And hopefully these seminars that I'm going to start giving for patients and non-patients, even family members, they need to know and understand the process too. Mm-hmm. So I just want to hopefully educate at least one person so they can live longer. Because I've lived through this for 15 years. And now on this new machine, my doctor says my blood work looked like a new person. And I said, I'm glad you think so. But I try my best,
Wow.
To be up on my blood work. You don't have to be a doctor to learn how to read where your levels are. And those are some other little tidbits that I want to explain and help people to understand. Because it's those basic things that keep us out of the hospital. Right. But they're not taught by the doctor, the nurses, or the social worker because they're not patients. Right. So it's easier to learn from somebody who's been through that experience. So I hope I can bless other people with the knowledge I've gained over these 15 years.
Yeah. And just to piggyback what Nina said, knowledge is power. And what we as a people typically do is we go to the doctor and they tell us something and then we go home. Mm-hmm. What we have to do as kidney recipients and people waiting for kidneys and people who decided not to do kidney transplant but just doing their dialysis, you need to know your health. So when you go to the doctor, don't just let them tell you what's happening. Tell them to explain it to you. Yeah. Get a journal. Mm-hmm. Write it down. So when they tell you if they give you copies of your blood work and they say your levels of this and your levels of that, learn how to track it yourself. Mm-hmm. So that when there's something off, you don't have to wait to go to the doctor for them to tell you there's something off. You know it because you're looking at your records, you're looking at your journal, yes, and you're seeing that, hey, my phosphorus is going up. Hey, my calcium is going down. Because then you can ask the doctor specific questions that would help you live a better, healthier life. Because what I found is sometimes when you go to the doctor, the only thing they really do is do their job, which is just to take care of the illness. Mm-hmm. But the other factors of your diet, your lifestyle, your how are you feeling, mm-hmm, your mental health, that's usually lost in the sauce. Mm-hmm. And they're not paying attention to that because they're more concerned with your biological issues going on. And so we, as the patient, have to now step up and take care of ourselves and be that intermediary where we'll look at our records, save them. Because mm-hmm, if you ever went to a doctor's appointment with Nina, she is a dictionary and a library because she has mm-hmm, journals for every visit, every hospitalization. Because when the doctors say stuff to her, she writes it down. You said I have to do what? Wow. You're going to give me this medication? Right. Why? Mm-hmm. Because we also have to understand medication is a science. So what works for one patient may not work for another patient. Right. But if you're not educated on that knowledge and they just say, I'm going to give you this, you're just going to take it because you're trusting the doctors. And the doctors are to be trusted, but again, it's a science. Mm-hmm. And what works for one may not work for the other. But if you don't have any idea of the other options that you have, because they're not going to give you options, they're just going to treat you, then sometimes it can be to your disadvantage. You know what I mean? So if we want to share anything with anyone watching, it's knowledge is power. What you need to do is step up your care of yourself a little more, and you'll find you'll live a healthier life, and your treatments will go better, because now you know where your levels are. When you feel a certain way, you'll then know why. When you start itching and scratching, instead of going and ask the doctor, you'll know, oh, my phosphorus is up. Oh, I've consumed too much phosphorus, foods with phosphorus in it. And then you'll learn how to curtail yourself from eating such food. So, but if you don't know, then you wouldn't know how to address it. So we're hoping that this helps somebody.
It has. I'm sure it is. And I'm sure it has. You know what I mean? There's no cookie cutter thing for everybody. You know, everybody got a healing man, Yeah. But I thank you guys for coming on. Any quick shout outs, because it might be I'm trying to see if it's 8:45, and I have not seen that. Is it 8:45? Was it 8:43?
It's 8:45.
Oh, it's 8:45? All right. One shout out to one person so I can end this show, because I had instructions from the nurse.
Well, a shout out to my son, Alfredo, who gave me his kidney. Thank you. I love you.
Shout out to my daughter who gave me a chance to have a kidney and was off dialysis for 2.5 years. I love you.
Well, you guys were wonderful and fantabulous. I appreciate you and love you. And I'm just going to give out my resources if I can. And I thank you once again. You have a great night. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm very proud. And I look forward to working with you, Nina.
Yes. Okay, darling.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye-bye, Michelle. Bye, Nina. Thank you. Sisters of power. Sisters of greatness. Woohoo! Well, our resources for you tonight is ION program 844-393-6633. Okay. And then we have Cool Culture, a fun thing for families, right? 718-230-4186. You guys have been wonderful and fantabulous. See you next week for another wonderful show. A million blessings. V for victory. Take care of your kidneys, and they will take care of you. Good night. Enjoy your week.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. My girl, and say, this is.
Know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. CJ, now I got a roll.